morning. Yeah, good morning, Mr. Frank Binga, Mr. Michael. Okay, good morning. Good morning to everybody. You're welcome to the month of August. I always do this at the last day of the month or the first day of the new month. Take your time to evaluate your journey, evaluate your progress. Have you made progress in this business since January? What are the things you're doing right? What are the things you're doing wrong? Take your time to reflect. You're expected to have what we call a trading journal. That's a book that, that logs all your activities. Why did you take a trade? What parameters did you look out for, when you took the trade? If you lost the trade, why? If you have a log, you will know possibly you did something wrong. Maybe you were not patient enough to see your rules materialize, or you took some trades when you were not supposed to take it. These are ways that you can know how you are progressing. The things you're doing wrong, you're supposed to work on them so that they don't repeat itself again. I remember yesterday at the Lagos office, we were having physical training while we simultaneously had the afternoon analysis. Just after I did the analysis about the upcoming news, I mentioned the Canadian dollar. Somebody placed a trade on the Canadian dollar straight away, and I said, "Sir, you are wrong. You are supposed to wait for the news to be released first. Not that you took a technical trade ahead of a fundamental event." These are some little things that people do that put them in trouble. Yeah, eventually the trade did go his way, but if he's not careful, he may feel that is the way to continue to happen. You don't break the rules. If you break the rules, you bear the consequences. So always know the things you're doing. Take note of what you're doing. Whatever you're doing wrong, try to mitigate against it so that it doesn't happen again. That is actually what shows growth. When you remove emotions from trading and take trading simply as a business as it is. All right, for those who are just joining us, you're welcome. This is the month of August, and this is PU Prime Morning Analysis, and I'm your host. My name is Rotimi Olawale. All right, so let's go into
Good
what we
morning,
have.
sir.
Morning, ma.
Hello, sir.
You're
Good
welcome, ma.
morning, sir.
Good
Happy
morning,
New
ma.
Month
Happy New
to
Month to you
everybody.
too, ma. You're welcome
Thank you
on
very
board.
much, sir.
Welcome to
Thank you, sir. So
everyone.
I don't know did you discuss anything? Because I waited and I just went out for 1 or 2 minutes. I don't know whether I discussed about dollars, sir.
We have not analyzed, we're just starting.
Oh,
I was
thank
just
you, sir.
giving
Okay.
a new month talk. I always tell
Oh,
us towards the end of the month or at the beginning of the new month to evaluate our trading activities. What are we doing
okay.
right? What are we doing wrong? The things that you're doing right, continue to do it. The things that you're doing wrong, try to stop doing it. If it's like you're not always patient to see your trade form before you take it, or you do late entry. Signal has been dropped and it took you another 1 hour before you entered and the thing now did not go well. All those kind of things you have to work and improve on them for you to be successful in trading. So that's
Thank you
just what
very
I
much,
was trying
sir.
to share with the house before we start.
You're welcome, sir. You're welcome into the new month
You too, ma.
and to every one of us in the house. Thank you,
Yes,
sir.
you're welcome, ma.
Bye.
All right, so let's start with what we have. Today is the first day of the month, and coincidentally, it's also the first Friday in the month of August. Usually on Friday, we have the biggest, not just Friday, the first Friday of the month, we always have the biggest event in the Forex market. And that is the NFP, non-farm payroll. Non-farm payroll is the news that talks about the employment change and unemployment rate in the United States and is the biggest economic indicator in the US. So NFP comes up today by 1:30 p.m. But before then, by 10 a.m. this morning, there will be core CPI flash estimate and CPI flash estimate from the Eurozone. Now, this is a euro-based event, but it's not going to move the market as much as the NFP. On NFP day, what we focus on is always the NFP itself, because NFP will determine the direction of the market. In fact, in some instances, is the direction the NFP goes out determine the direction of the dollar for the next 1 month. And that is also in some instances, it may even go beyond that. And that is the reason why we don't joke with NFP. Today, we're going to be trading NFP live by 1:15 p.m. So if you're on board, I will encourage you to join us by 1:15 p.m. The links will be dropped in your WhatsApp group. if you want to fund ahead so that you can have enough capital in your account to trade this event, which is what I even encourage, go ahead and reach out to your account manager and fund your account. If you're on board this morning, you don't have an account with PU Prime, go straight to our website, www.puprime.com, register. Or better still, you can reach out to me. I can guide you on how to get registered, get verified. You can do all that and still be available to trade this event by 1:15 p.m. provided you start immediately after this class. So if you want to register, just reach out to me. I'll guide you on how to get started with your registration. All right. So like I said, 10 a.m. there is core CPI flash estimate and CPI flash estimate from the Eurozone. We don't expect much activity from that. But the major one comes up by 1:30 p.m. Analysis will be 1:15. Then the live session itself is 1:30. So between 1:15 and 1:25, we're going to analyze and drop signal for you. There'll be signal. Entry price, take profit, stop loss will be dropped. Most of it is going to be pending order. So take note of that. So we have the average hourly earnings, the non-farm employment change, and the unemployment rate. What is average hourly earning? Average hourly earning is a change in the price businesses pay for labor, excluding the farming industry. So this talks about how much people earn per hour. The minimum wage in the US up till this time is still $10 per hour, though there are insinuations that there might be an increase in it, but the government is yet to speak. So with this data, I want to know how many people are earning $10, how many people are earning 20, 30, 50, $100 per hour, or have people been able to upgrade their income from a certain amount they earn per hour to a higher one. That is what this average hourly earning is all about. And then it's stated clearly that it excludes the farming industry. The thing is that the farmers are excluded from this particular data. And the next one is the non-farm employment change, which is the change in the number of employed people during the previous month, excluding the farming industry. So this particular data talks about those who are employed. We want to know those who are employed, at the beginning of the month of July, towards the end of July, how many people were employed? Is it at the beginning of the month we had the 100,000 people employed, and at the end of the month it increased to 150,000, or it dropped from 100,000 to 80,000? That is what this change, is talking about, non-farm employment change. And the data, the effect is actual greater than forecast is good for the currency. So the effect is actual greater than forecast is good for the currency. The same thing with the average hourly earning, actual greater than forecast is good for the currency. The third one is the unemployment rate, and this is the percentage of the total workforce that is unemployed and actively seeking employment during the previous month. So this one is for those who are not employed and actively looking for employment. Here, actuals and forecast is good for the currency. Now, we'll not go into too much details about this. I've said a lot already, but then we'll still talk about it in the afternoon by 1:15 p.m. when we come on board. Now, for this morning session, what we're going to be looking at, I'll give you my view on the dollar ahead. And as of this morning, the market is very, very quiet. Now, this happens a lot on NFP days. On NFP days, a lot of the other countries too, everybody is waiting. America still has the biggest economy in the world at this time. So on NFP days, even in some instances, the week of NFP, market can be quiet, and even if there's activity in the course of the week, on the day of NFP itself, you see a lot of quietness in the market because everybody is waiting for the data. So there is no setup on any of the other currency pairs this morning, except for one I'm seeing on gold, and that will just be like a scalp. It's going to be a very brief one, which I'll share with us. But if I show us that one, this is a dollar index. I've said it right from the beginning of the week that I hold a bullish outlook on the dollar index. I'm seeing an inverse head and shoulder pattern. Price has clearly broken out above the neckline, and more so, we are now in a new month. So if you go to the monthly time frame, you will clearly see that the candlestick pattern we're seeing is like a bullish engulfing candlestick that closed last month, and the previous one. So these are indications, a bullish engulfing candlestick in an uptrend. The price is trending upwards. We have an uptrend. Dollar index is trending upwards. So this is an indication that we will continue likely to have a bullish dollar. So that can give us a clear indication of what to expect ahead of the NFP. And similarly, that also tells us for the USD I've said it right from the beginning of the week that I hold a bullish outlook on the USD And if you go again to the monthly time frame, you discover that, okay, this one is not a bullish engulfing, but notwithstanding, as in not a bullish engulfing on the monthly time frame, but notwithstanding on the daily, we've seen that reversal pattern, that gave us the outlook of an inverse head and shoulder, just like what we saw on the dollar index. So we expect price to go higher on the USD CHF. Similarly, GBP USD, I've said it. If I posted an analysis on this in the groups earlier in the week, I said I saw a head and shoulder and a downward, and price has clearly broken out downwards. Now, if you have followed the analysis on this, GBP since Monday up till now has dropped to the tune of about 209 pips, and there's still potential for it to drop further. For example, now if the data comes out good for the dollar today, that will lead to a more decline on the GBP. Now, there will be instances where it might retrace. Retracement is temporary movement against established trend. It might buy a little in some instances, but drop further, buy, drop further, buy, drop further. That's lower high, lower low. But then the overall trend on the GBP still remains bearish, and that's what happened in the better part of the month, especially in this month of August. Now, the other instrument I'm looking at for this month of August is the Euro card. The Euro card. Now, for this instrument, it's having a very fantastic setup, and this is it on the monthly time frame. We can see that price, hit a resistance level on the monthly time frame. This is a resistance zone, and price closed on that. Hit that resistance on the monthly time frame. Now, on the weekly time frame. Now, today is Friday, the week is yet to end, but then we are seeing something here which is a bearish engulfing candlestick pattern on that resistance zone which we found on the monthly. And if you take it down to the daily time frame, we can clearly see here a rising wedge pattern on the daily, a rising wedge pattern, and price has clearly broken out below the recent support and the recent trend line. Yeah, currently it's retracing. What we're seeing currently is a retracement, but on the bigger picture, we are going to be anticipating a further drop. Price broke out, possibly retest this previous resistance, then we are expecting a continuation. Now, anytime price is able to break out below the recent low, then we are going to see further bearish continuation on the Euro card. So for the month of August, I'm bearish on the Euro card. I'm bearish on the GBP. Now take note of this setup. So if you're there, you have an intraday strategy or you have a scalping strategy. These are instruments you can watch out for to trade. Just know that you are looking only for opportunities to sell on these two instruments in the month of August. All right, so with that being said, now I'll show you my outlook on gold, and we might have to round up the session there for this morning. Now, this is gold. Like I said, in recent times, there have been no serious geopolitical tension around the world, so gold has been responding more to the dollar. Now, this is gold on the 4-hour time frame. Oh, this is 1 hour, sorry, not 4 hour. This is 1 hour time frame. And we can see that price is trending downwards. If you take it down to the 15-minute time frame, we can see that there was a rejection candle right here, and that has led to some recent drop on gold. Not just a rejection candle, there's equally a resistance zone right here with that rejection candle. So this means we already have some drop, it may drop further, may have further bearish movement on gold in the course of today before the NFP. Now, gold is around this region now. You can see the current candle is still, looking bearish. Now there's a support here. So you can see price just touched it. If a new candle opens below this support, you can trigger a sell on gold. So that's just the only setup I have for us this morning. And it's a 1 hour, 15 minute setup, for me, it's scalping. I really don't always go that low, but that's if it's gold, it's possible because of the volatility on gold. If it's other currencies, I will not just bother. So if you had that in analysis earlier, maybe we'll have been able to, okay, this will have been earlier on, like some 1 hour ago. Some movements already took place, but then let's just see in the course of today if price will break this level. If that happens, then we'll see some bearish movement on gold before the NFP. It won't be much, but it can still be something. Currently gold here is trading around Fibonacci 50. If it breaks the Fibonacci 50, at least it will get to 61.8. That's with that you can catch some like 15, 16 pips, some 16 pips, at least can be caught if it breaks below this current level. So let's watch out for that. And that's the only setup I have for us this morning. Don't forget to join us by 1:15 p.m. for the NFP. For those who are just joining us, NFP is the biggest event in the forex market, and here at PU Prime we have a live trading session for it every month. And not just NFP alone, we also trade the CPI, which is the Consumer Price Index. The next CPI may come up next week or upper week. That one sometimes is not fixed, but NFP is always fixed at the first Friday of the new month. All right, so we're going to end here this morning. I don't know if anybody has a question, though not analysis based, because like I said, the market is very quiet, and we just want to be sure we give you the best at all time. So if you have a question, you can just go ahead and maybe write it or post it as we round up.
Sir, please, I have a running trade on other pairs on Euro, on GBP AUD, but a swing trade. I don't know if I can close it before the NFP. I don't know how strong the NFP will be. It's good I leave it as a swing trade.
Okay, if it's a swing trade, I
Yes, sir.
believe you know that the stop loss is usually on the white side.
Yes, sir.
It's bigger than whatever you have for an intraday
Mm.
setup. All
Yes, sir.
right, so it
Can
should
I
be honest.
place it on daily since it is TF4? Can I place the stop loss on daily?
You mean daily time frame?
Yes, sir. I
Well,
leave time frame 4 completely and go to daily. Is it
I
okay?
I think it's more a function of your equity. What are you doing on
Okay.
GPA? Are you buying or selling?
Yeah, I'm selling.
It was supposed to buy earlier, but then it's moved into a sell from here with this rejection candle and that resistance zone. Currently, it's ranging. Well, I will say this is what I will say. I think it's more a function of your equity. If your
Yes, sir.
equity can accommodate it and you are on swing, you may leave it. Otherwise,
Okay.
if you are not too certain, I will advise you close it. Or better still, just make sure you have a stop loss in place with the maximum level of risk you feel you are comfortable with. Because we don't know how NFE will come out.
Mm.
It may come out very
Okay.
volatile or not.
Mm.
You know, so that's why I wouldn't just say close it.
Mm.
So but just make sure you have the stop loss that your equity can manage. You have it in
Mm.
place so that sometimes NFE may come out like that and it may even push it in your expected direction, even though it's not the dollar related news. The thing is that NFE cuts across all instruments. All instruments
Mm.
will react to it. So it's not just about the dollar. So, but how
Okay.
it will react to it is what we can't guarantee. We can't tell you
Mm.
yet. So
Mm.
the only safe thing you can do is look at your equity, the stop loss, assuming it gets it, to what level of impact will it be on my account?
Okay.
So that's just what should guide your decision there.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm very grateful.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Have
All
a nice
right.
weekend.
You too.
Okay.
USDJPY, I'm sorry, we're not analyzing USDJPY this morning. The market is very quiet. There will likely not be any moment until the NFP in the afternoon. So we're trying to stay out of all that. That's for Mr. Mohammed. All right, so we're going to end here. If you're just joining us, don't forget NFP comes up by 1:15 p.m. That's when we'll go live, and then the news itself will be released by 1:30 p.m. If you don't have any account here and you're on PU Prime, you can reach out to me to get registered, to be an account holder with PU Prime. All right, we'll end this session here. Take care and see you in the afternoon by 1:15 p.m. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.